I'm Zachary Friedley, the brand ambassador for Thanksgiving Coffee Company. I'm the executive director at the Mendocino Movement Project. So my favorite part about the brand ambassador role here, I don't want to call it a job because it doesn't feel like a job. I get to interact with people and share my excitement not only about coffee, but what Thanksgiving coffee inspired me in my life. Meeting Paul was a pretty remarkable time in my life. Getting to know him and hearing his story about Thanksgiving coffee inspired me for my own story, which is creating the Mendocino Movement Project. And it was just me and him hanging out, and a lot of things came from that. So it's cool to give back and to share the same thing that inspired me with other people. So I've been working on outreach for the Mendocino Movement Project, and what outreach looks like for us is running events. It started out with the Whale Run in Fort Bragg in March and evolved from there to a run in Los Olivos called Born to Run. It was a 10-mile run through the mountains. It was amazing, and it opened up opportunities for more outreach. I took advantage of that and did a trail run through Yosemite, the El Capitan Trail. It's 18 miles out and back. My goal was to get to the top and to take a pretty cool selfie up there, but I didn't make it up there because my prosthetics didn't handle the terrain, so I had to come back down, but it just opened up an opportunity to return to Yosemite for another attempt. And this time I have a better leg that's made for mountains instead of roads and tracks. So I'm excited to use it. I had my first run with it recently, within the last month. I did a half marathon, the Big River Marathon, here in our own hometown of Mendocino. And then I got on a plane the next morning and flew out to the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs and was part of a triathlon camp for USA Triathlon. So now the outreach looks like half marathons, ultras, and triathlons. So my goal in 2020 is to do 24 to 30 events through the entire year to raise awareness for what we're doing with the Mendocino Movement Project, which is providing prosthetics to those in developing countries that don't have the resources. And it's my job to raise the money and the awareness and to make that thing happen. My next big happening, I'm going to India in October. I'm going to spend some time there with an organization that I've made a connection with called the Monodharm. They have a wedding that they've invited me to, which is really exciting. And then my plan after that event is to have them take me to prosthetics places within the country. I've got some that I've identified that I want them to take me to so I can talk to them and tell them what it is we're up to, and hopefully make a partnership and come back in December 2020 and help them out with prosthetics. Well, the grand picture would be to have a project in India accomplished by December 2020, and between now and then, film what happens, how it happens. Obviously you see a project being done and you see people being helped, but there's a lot of things that happen before that happens. So to film all that, because we have a team of people now on the Mendocino Movement, so we have a lot of things that we want to record and then make like a mini movie, maybe like a 15 and 20 minute short film about how the idea came, and then the finished product of the idea, which is a project being completed in India, December 2020. And what that looks like is people getting prosthetics that wouldn't necessarily have prosthetics any other way. Film it, show it happening, and then I come back to the United States and show the film to scale the project so we can go anywhere in the world to have it happen. Not just India, so we can go into Congo, Uganda, Laos, Ukraine, and have these projects flowing everywhere and showing people what's possible. And then not only that, but inspiring other people to find something within them that they can give back. Everybody's got a Mendocino movement in them. It's not like this special thing. And for me, what I didn't know was it was possible to help people, because you're always trying to help yourself, or you're paying bills and you get lost in the madness of the world, when really you can make it simple and find something to help. And once you get a whiff of that, it's kind of like a domino effect, and you get magnetized towards that, and everybody has the ability. The most rewarding, traveling, being immersed in different cultures, seeing the world, because on the big picture, well, the rest of the world, there's 8 billion other people out there, and sometimes we think about us and only us and our ways and our issues that we have dividing our country or whatnot, but there's a whole other world out there. We're like a sliver of it. So to go to India where there's 1.5 billion people, and you get to see another way of life and see things that they're struggling with, things that we take for granted, like running water, or going into the supermarket and getting upset because there's 500 different types of cereal and you can't decide what you want. Well, they don't have those luxuries. And to see how they live, it makes it rewarding. And you come back home with a different perspective, and you don't let the small things drive you nuts, It's like my movement for other people's movement. The more I can move, the more I can help others move. So it's my goal to move myself as much as possible. I just hired a trainer who is the ex-Oakland Raiders strength coach. So we're gonna work on a program to where I can actually do an event every 10 to 12 days, which is kind of inhuman. So my goal is to do triathlons, half marathons. I've never ran a marathon yet, so next year in spring, summer, I'll hit the marathon and then increase it up to an ultra marathon with the goal in 36 months to do a 100-mile race. And there's not a lot of people with prosthetics doing that, pushing that envelope. So it'd be cool to make some waves in that area, but then deflect all that energy to the Mendocino Movement Project. If you would have told me 5 years ago you're gonna run marathons, I would have laughed. It just shows that you can be anybody you wanna be. We give ourselves self-imposed limitations, and we have limiting beliefs, and I work on that every day to just abolish those, put myself in what I like to call living outside the comfort zone. When you're outside the comfort zone is when huge growth happens. So I like to immerse myself, because it's not comfortable running half marathons and marathons, but there's growth that happens in those races that you can apply to the rest of your life. And the rest of my life just happens to be helping people move. That's what I want to do.